So as we get a new concept over here called as looking along the plane and looking perpendicular to plane, we will have to place ourselves at different locations, because as I have said, this particular imagination power is not something which is equally distributed among the human beings. Everybody can imagine the object as something different, because here we are using the policy that the three faces which are not seen, there are hardly any details, and hence to make our concept very clear, the three-dimensional object will not be actually drawn on the paper or on the drawing sheet or the blackboard, because it is going to be slightly confusing. There could be some ambiguity which will be arising due to the faces which are not visible, due to the lines which are not visible, and hence we say that we will be looking at the object from two different directions which are mutually perpendicular, like as I have used over here the y-axis direction. I can always use the z-axis direction to get what is known as the top view of the particular object, and if required in some cases I might be looking from left view, left direction, called as the left hand side view. And then these three views together will describe the object fully, eliminating all the ambiguities which could otherwise arise due to the three-dimensional object which is drawn on what is known as a two-dimensional surface. The drawing board, the paper, these are the two-dimensional planes on which we can show two distances. The distances along, say, x-axis and z-axis can be shown as I have done over here in the front view. But the third distance will not be seen. Like this particular view is just incapable of giving me what is the depth of this particular object, the depth which is along y-axis. And to show that depth, I will have to use one more view. As a convention, I am drawing it just below the front view. And from top, this object is going to appear as a rectangle. This length remains L, whereas this could be depth D, this much depth, as we look from the z-axis direction. So these two views, which are mainly named as the front view and the top view, these two views together will try to describe the object. Afterwards, in the next few lectures, we can even see that the two views will not be sufficient to imagine the object correctly. It is quite likely that this object can be a different object. It can be other than the rectangular prism. Those who have got sufficient imagination power and they can visualize very well, they can even make out the particular sense of this sentence that the two views may not be sufficient to describe the object fully. And the third view will be required. That view in this case is going to be the left hand side view, which I am drawing here. I am just following some convention which we will be describing later. I am drawing the front view just between the same heights as that of the front view. The left hand side view is drawn. The left hand side view is drawn on the right hand side. The top view is drawn below. This is the convention which we are going to follow. Before we actually proceed with the next sessions, it is necessary that this particular object, the basic object that is a box which we have drawn just now, that particular box can be again considered, and we will be imagining as what will happen if some part is added to that particular box or some portion of that particular box is eliminated. We can cut off some corner, we can draw some slot through that particular object, through this particular rectangular box, or we can even have some additional parts which are attached to it, and we want to see as whether we can imagine it well and whether we can show that particular addition or deletion among these three views. So let us go further. Let us redraw this particular box once again and then see as what we could do with that particular box. I am not going to draw these three views. I just want you to actually visualize and imagine that particular object.